Hello children, welcome back. Welcome back to the last lecture on chapter 6 molecular basis of inheritance, and the topic we are going to take up today is DNA fingerprinting. I'm very excited, at the same time I'm very nervous. Excited because finally we have successfully completed the chapter. We are going to successfully complete the chapter, and nervous because DNA fingerprinting is not well explained in your book. I hope I can explain you exactly what it is and how things work, right? So without wasting much time, let us move directly into the topic, DNA fingerprinting. As you know that DNA fingerprinting is a method of forensic identification. Now what is forensic identification? You use DNA fingerprinting as a proof in many of the crimes that happens, so it is forensics में इसको यानी कि crime वगैरह में it is used as a proof or as a as a document which can support whether crime has taken or not taken place, right? So before I proceed, actually I'll give you the concept of DNA fingerprinting. How did DNA fingerprinting get its name? You know that we all have our fingerprints, like thumb impressions, which we call as, or the finger impressions, which we call as fingerprints. And we are all aware that the fingerprint of two individuals is never the same. कभी same नहीं होता except for identical twins, right? So it is very easy with the help of fingerprints to identify or distinguish two individuals. दो individuals को identify या distinguish करना बहुत आसान है because no two human being on this earth except identical twins, they do not have the same fingerprints. Similarly, you know that in each of our cell, हमारी body के हर एक cell में, we have the 46 chromosomes, and the length of the DNA of this 46 chromosomes comes to be 2.2 meter. And किसी भी दो individual का this DNA, entire DNA length of 2.2 meters, it will never be the same. It can never be the same except in case of identical twins. That means just like our fingerprints, the DNA, which is approximately 2.2 meter long and it is made up of 6.6 into 10 to the power 9 bases, all the nucleotides or all the genes of two individuals except identical twins can never be same. So thus DNA fingerprinting can be used in forensic science, for crime, for paternity maternity dispute, ये बच्चा इन्हीं का है कि नहीं है ये पता करने के लिए. So now this is actually coming up as a good science or the bright science which is being used for various reasons and purposes, right? So DNA profiling or DNA fingerprinting is actually a method of forensic identification. Great. Now, I'm going to tell you a few things about it. DNA profiling is the technique that is used to determine nucleotide sequences of certain areas of DNA which are unique to each individual. This I want you to understand. I want you to understand this point, which I have told you in my previous lecture as well, that 99.9% genes of all of us are identical. हम सब के 99.9% genes identical. Why? Because basically we have the same framework, we have the same metabolism, going in our body. We all have mitochondria, eyes, ears, hair. We are all making pepsin, we are all making trypsin. In all our, so almost all the enzymes of our body are same. So 99.9% genes are same, right? So is the nucleotide sequence also. So if I want to identify amongst two people, what is the point in taking those genes, which are found in everyone? For example, I want to know that there was someone in my class who maybe broke my window. मेरे क्लास में आज किसी ने खिड़की तोड़ दी. And I asked one of the child, please tell me, I want to identify that child. Please tell me something about that child, so that I can identify him. मुझे उसमें कुछ character बताइए. And the child says, ma'am, that whoever broke your glass, he had two eyes. Right? So there are many boys who can have two eyes. He has one nose. There are many. So those characters which are found in everyone, why compare those characters? Because उससे हमें कभी भी differences पता ही नहीं लगेंगे. We will not be able to identify one individual from the other. Distinguish one individual from the other. So since 99.9, approximately 99%, more than 99%, we almost say 99.9% genes of two individuals are alike. So DNA fingerprinting में हम कभी भी उन DNA सीक्वेंस को नहीं मिलाते. इसलिए भी नहीं मिलाते बिकॉज इन माई प्रीवियस क्लास आई टोल्ड यू द कॉस्ट ऑफ फाइंडिंग आउट वन न्यूक्लियोटाइड was coming to be $3 now if something has $3 इसका प्राइस है तो obviously हम थोड़ा सोच के काम करेंगे ना पूरे डीएनए को अगर हम मिलाने लग गए तो क्या होगा it will become a very expensive affair so why don't we actually try to match out those DNA sequences which are normally unique amongst individuals राइट सो डीएनए प्रोफाइलिंग इज अ टेक्निक जिसमें हम न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस निकालते हैं ओनली ऑफ दोज सर्टेन एरियाज ऑफ द डीएनए व्हिच आर नॉर्मली यूनिक टू इंडिविजुअल्स नॉट दोज जीन्स व्हिच आर फाउंड इन ऑल द इंडिविजुअल्स देन a technique used by scientists to distinguish and this technique is used by scientists to distinguish between individuals of the same species right you can distinguish between two people crime site में किसने actually crime किया you can distinguish and tell हाँ इसी ने किया इसने नहीं किया ठीक by using only the samples of the DNA या हम सिर्फ डीएनए का सैंपल लेते हैं एंड दोज जीन्स व्हिच आर नॉर्मली यूनिक इन मोस्ट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स हम उसको मिलाकर that helps us in identifying individuals of a species and DNA fingerprinting we are actually using it for the human species. Great. So I hope the background is getting clear. So DNA fingerprinting, though two individuals have the entire length of DNA, 2.2 meter DNA identical, and 99.9% of the genes are identical, but 0.1% differences are there. If we compare this 0.1 percent का वो genes which makes our individual unique, we can figure out one person out of a sample of population. ठीक, so with that in the background, let us give the credit to the person who actually came up with the with the process. It was Alec Jeffrey. I hope you know about him. He was Alec Jeffrey, in the University of Leicester in 1985. He actually came up with the concept of DNA fingerprinting, for which his technique he gave this technique in 1985, and from 1986 his technique was accepted in the law of courts. हम कोर्ट में इसको एक सबूत के रूप में as an evidence we started accepting it from 1986. He was knighted in 1994 for his achievement. This DNA fingerprinting process. What is the basis of this DNA fingerprinting? This is some first. So we had a background. Actually, what are we going to do in DNA fingerprinting? We are going to match the DNA of two individuals and only those regions of the DNA which make an individual unique. Right? It was done by Alec Jeffrey. Now, what is the basis? What is the background on which the DNA fingerprinting actually works? Now, we are going to go a little slow and we are going to try to understand everything. Now, listen, beta. We know that if we consider haploid number of chromosomes, not diploid, you know that diploid number of chromosome 2n, may the number of base pairs is 6.6 into 10 to the power 9. So if I go for haploid, the nucleotide count will be 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 bases. हम किसी भी दो इंडिविजुअल का सारा 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 bases कभी नहीं मिलाते. We never match it for two reasons. One, I told you it's a very costly method. ठीक है, फर्स्ट आई टोल्ड यू इट्स अ वेरी कॉस्टली मेथड. अगर हम इतना लंबा डीएनए बनाए को पूरे को मैच करें, अप्रोक्सीमेट कॉस्ट ऑफ फाइंडिंग वन बेस पेयर इज $3. अभी तो बहुत सस्ता हो गया है, बट स्टिल इट विल बी अ वेरी कॉस्टली प्रोसेस एंड समथिंग व्हिच गेट्स वेरी कॉस्टली. इट कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड बाय एवरीवन. ठीक है, it cannot be used at a ground level, so we are not going to match it. And secondly, why? Because we know that 99.9% genes of two individuals are alike. So what is the point wasting matching those genes? So this is what I am trying to tell you, that the base pairs, they are actually made up of 3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs, जिसमें से 99.9% DNA is same in all individuals. Only 0.1% base pair differences they are actually found in individuals, right? So now comes the relief. अब हम लोग को केवल कितने bases को मिलाना है? Only 0.1%. 99.9% को मिलाना ही नहीं है. एक चीज याद रखिएगा बेटा. Please remember this one thing very very well. And that one thing is, for that I'm going to make the board clear. जब हमने DNA fingerprinting किया तो हमारा सबसे बड़ा challenge क्या था? Our biggest challenge was to make the process first cost effective. First to make it cost effective, This was the first challenge. And our second challenge here was to make it time effective. Now what do I mean by time effective? If you remember, in Human Genome Project, मैंने जब आपको बताया था, Human Genome Project, it required 13 years and still it could not be completed. पूरे ह्यूमन के जीनोम के न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस को पता करने में एंटायर 2.2 मीटर जो हमारा डीएनए था उसके सारे न्यूक्लियोटाइड सीक्वेंस को पता करने में वी हैड गिवन आवर्स अ डेडलाइन ऑफ 13 years and still we could not do it. We required additional 3 years. So we completed it in 16 years. Can you imagine? अब अगर आप किसी भी क्राइम के साइट से डीएनए का सैंपल लेकर आते हैं and you tell the police person, say I may require 1 or 2 years to find the nucleotide sequence, तब तो सारा काम खत्म, सारा क्राइम का सब चीज खत्म. It has to be time effective. It should be done in a very less time and it should be cost effective so that even for a small crime we can go for DNA fingerprinting and actually find out the results. So that was the biggest challenge. ठीक, अगर ये चैलेंज नहीं होता तो क्या था भाई, किसी भी दो इंडिविजुअल का पूरे डीएनए को मिला लो. हम तो बता ही रहे हैं किसी भी दो इंडिविजुअल का 100% डीएनए कैन नेवर बी सेम एक्सेप्ट इन आइडेंटिकल ट्विन्स. So why just go for the 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs? Only thing is it will require 2-3 years, and secondly it will be very costly. By the time you get the results you will be bankrupted and you will be sitting in front of a temple begging for something maybe. Right? So that is what I am trying to say. So these two things had to be borne in mind while going for DNA fingerprinting, and that is the challenge, how to do that. That actually we are trying to figure out now. So what we found was that 99.9% DNA is same in all individuals. It exactly same in all the individuals, right? So when 99.9% is exactly same, what is the point matching those points? So wow, that came as a relief. अब आपको केवल कितने को work करना है? Only 0.1%. We side 0.1% ही पता करना है. But now come to this, 0.1% of 3.3 into 10 to the power 9 bases comes to 3 into 10 to the power 6 bases. अगर आप इसका just find out 0.1%, 0.1% of this, just try to figure it out. It will come to 1 by 1000 divided by 1000. What will happen? This will be 3 into 10 to the power 6 base pairs. Oof! This is अभी भी नंबर बहुत बड़ा है. 3 into 10 to the power 6 bases समझते हो, उसका सीक्वेंस पता करना, the cost and the time that will require. अब क्या करें? See, 99.9 को तो हमने हटा दिया. Now 0.1 is also a very big figure. How to reduce this? मैंने कहा ना, how to reduce the length, how to make it cost effective and how to make it time effective. उसके लिए क्या है, जितने छोटे से छोटे टुकड़े डीएनए को मिलाकर अगर हम डिफरेंसेस को बता सके, so that will require less time and less money. So how to go about it? So we started putting our brains. When we started putting our brains, what came to our mind? Oh, great. We know that हमारा जो ये basis है, it is made up of two things, exons and neutrons. ठीक है, क्यों हम दोनों को मिलाएं? Why don't we try only one of them? I'm telling you, in my teaching career, I have asked many students कि बताओ बेटा, अगर अब हमको इसमें से इंट्रॉन या एक्सॉन के जीन को मिलाना हो, I want to match the genes of two individuals so as to find the uniqueness of both of them so that I can identify both of them, right? So which gene would you prefer? Would you like to match their exons or would you like to match their introns? In my career, all the students have always said, ma'am, exons को मिलाएंगे. And I am telling you why you think like that. आपको लगता है ये तो functional gene है ना, तो functional gene को मिलाएंगे तब ना फायदा है. What is the point matching introns? Introns are not the functional genes. So what is the point matching the introns? That is normally you think, right? But the answer is not that. We do not match exons. We actually match introns. Yes, you heard me right. We do not match exons. We match introns. I know exons are the functional genes. These are the genes of use. Introns are useless genes, but still we do not match exons of two individuals. We match introns. Yes, you heard it right. Now the next question that will immediately come to, ma'am, why introns? And that is very interesting, which I want you to understand. Why introns? That is the question. This is because introns show a phenomena called as polymorphism for the basis of fingerprinting. Let me tell you, the biggest basis of DNA fingerprinting is, this is the basis, आपसे जब पूछेगा, of DNA fingerprinting is actually polymorphism. अब ये polymorphism क्या बला है? You know, we are making it the basis of DNA fingerprinting, and we say that introns show polymorphism, so we match introns of two individuals, right? So what is this polymorphism? Let us try to find it out. I will explain you polymorphism with the help of an example, right? What is that example? Okay, there's a little mistake in this diagram, but you will find it. I am sure you'll do it. It should have had two balloons over here as well, right? Two colored balloons it should have here as well in this basket. I'm going to give you an example. I'm sure you are going to understand after that. What is that example? अब भूल जाओ, polymorphism भूल जाओ, and then understand this example. Then we'll go back to the polymorphism. I have 4 baskets. You can see here. हर basket पे दो कलर का balloon डाला है. Say it is golden and red here. It is pink and green here. Light green and yellow here. And maybe it is blue, and you consider this as another color, maybe magenta over here. I should have had all different colors balloons. मेरे पास 4 basket हैं. Each basket has a lot of, not दो, a lot of 2 colors balloon. Like this one will have only red and golden. The other one will have only pink and dark green, like this. But there will be a lot of balloons. Maybe 50 red, 50 golden. In the other one, maybe 50 pink, 50 green. Like this, I have a lot of balloons. ठीक है, 4 basket है. Suppose you are 100 people in the class. आप लोग 100 लोग class में बैठे. I tell all of you, please get blindfolded. अपने आँख में एक पट्टी बांधो and please come and randomly, just pick one balloon from each box. Just one. इसमें से एक उठाना है, then इससे एक उठाना है, then इससे एक उठाना, and ये चौथे वाले से आपको एक बलून उठाना है. Randomly आपको एक उठाना है. Now I want to ask you, if 100 of you come and just pick up one balloon from each basket, just one balloon. I don't know which one is I'm taking. My question is, how many people do you think in this class of 100 they will have all the 4 colors balloon the same? How many children you think in this will have the same? I think many. क्योंकि 2 ही कलर है ना. I have a box of 100 balloons, but 50 balloons are red and 50 balloons are golden. In the other one, there is a box of 100 balloons, but 50 is pink and 50 is green. So there are just 2 colors in each of the boxes. In each of the box, डलिया में सिर्फ 2 कलर के ही बलून है. तो मैं दोनों में से एक ही उठाऊंगी ना. I am going to pick up either red or golden. In the second one, it should be either green or maybe pink. So it is going to be only one out of the 2 colors, right? Now, out of the 100 people, 10 लोग तो ऐसे हो सकते हैं ना जिनका चारों कलर का बलून सेम है. Why? Because there was only 2 choices between the balloons. Here, the 2 choices should be considered as alleles. And होता क्या है बेटा? Exons में normally every gene has only 2 alleles, right? In exons, normally each gene has just 2 alleles. Right? So since there are only 2 alleles, and if we are comparing a small piece of DNA, हमारे पास सिर्फ 2 allele है और हम DNA का केवल एक छोटा सा टुकड़ा कंपेयर कर रहे हैं. So there is a huge probability that many people may have the same allele for the genes under consideration. If you consider the balloons as genes, if you consider this as gene 1, you consider this as gene 2, right? You consider this as gene 3. And this you consider as gene 4. ठीक? And these are the alleles for that gene. This is allele 1 for that gene, allele 2, allele 1, allele 2, allele 1 for the gene, allele 2. Similarly, this is allele 1 and this is allele 2 for the gene. क्योंकि ये gene के 2 ही allele है, so if we compare, now these are 2 different individuals beta. This is individual 1. This is individual 2, say this is individual 3 and this is individual 4. So there may be many people who may be having the same gene of the 2 alleles. बहुत सारे लोग population में ऐसे हो सकते हैं जिनका वही 4 allele हो, right? अगर क्योंकि human population तो millions में है, right? We have crossed 1 billion mark. Right? So of course इतने बड़े population में or may more than one person having the same allele for the gene, that's possible. Okay, 2 people not having the same allele is possible only when you consider more number of genes. सी अगर हम इतने सारे जीन्स को कंसिडर करते हैं बेटा, इफ आई कंसिडर सो मेनी जीन्स टुगेदर, देन व्हाट विल हैपन, इसका एक these two have something in problem, so you just imagine, you know, two balloons here and two there as well. I'm sure you can help me out. Just two colors, आप यहाँ पे भी imagine करो, there are two colors balloons, right this. So here आपको क्या करना होगा, you have to take a number of G's. Now look at the same situation. Say if I have, say here I have 8 to the 16, 24. 24 now dalia. Each dalia having only two colors of balloon. Now if I ask you कि बेटा just pick out one from each one of them, since the number of dalia has become too much, तो obviously अब दो आदमी के सारे dalia से, सारे basket से same color का balloon पाया जाना मुश्किल है. Why? Because the number of baskets have increased. Now the more the baskets I take, obviously the probability of two persons picking up the same balloon from each of the basket will reduce. For that, the number of baskets has to be increased. I told you here, basket बराबर कौन है? Gene. And the two balloons बराबर कौन है? Allele. Since here I am talking about exons, and exons normally have just two alleles. Right? They have two alleles. So you have to study too many genes. आपको बहुत सारे जीन्स को स्टडी करना पड़ेगा in order to distinguish between two individuals. But इससे क्या होगा? You will need more time, you will spend more money. More time, more money means this will become an unfeasible process. This cannot be utilized by everyone. तो ये आपका क्या हो गया? This process will be considered as a complete failure. Did you get me? So this is something we do not do. तो इससे that is why we do not take exons in our process, because normally exons have two alleles for every gene. So here you have to consider too many genes together in order to find differences between two individuals. That will make the process very lengthy, not cost effective, not time effective. So we actually discarded the process. Right? Now let us look for another example. Let us look for another example here. Now in another example, what I am trying to show is, now again with the help of an example, in this case also the basket represents genes. The basket represents genes. So this is gene 1. So this is gene 2. Say this is your gene 3. And say this is your gene 4. So basket here represents the genes, and the balloons, they represent the alleles of those genes. Right? In this case what we are seeing, each basket has more than one balloon. That means each gene has many alleles, and many alleles of any gene is found only in introns and not in exons. ये भी क्यों? I will explain you just now. Introns वैसे जीन है जो नॉन फंक्शनल है. ठीक? तो अगर कोई इंट्रॉन, अगर एक्सॉन है, how do you have allele to a gene? किसी भी जीन का allele कैसे बनता है? Say this is an exon, this is a functional gene जिसको I called as exon, and it has already two alleles, say capital A and small a. How will you have a third allele? When there will be a mutation in the gene. Now what happens? Mutation जैसे जीन में हो जाएगा तो obviously क्या होगा? Maybe the gene will not form an enzyme. ये एंजाइम ही नहीं बनाएगा अगर जीन म्यूटेट हो गया. अगर एंजाइम नहीं बनेगा, so a metabolic process will be hampered. Some metabolic process जिसमें A B बन रहा था, maybe this gene was responsible for converting A into B. Now normally the exons are functional gene. तो अगर functional gene mutate हो गया, उसका enzyme नहीं बना, तो a metabolic pathway gets affected, maybe the individual will die. And if I die, what will happen? The new allele will not be there to be passed on to the next generation. I want to tell you, any gene gets the status of an allele. याद रखना, कोई भी जीन, जैसे ये एक जीन है, इसके दो allele है, capital A, small a. Suppose you are saying a third allele is possible, that is A dash. Any gene, will get the status of an allele only when it is found at least in 0.1% or 0.01% of the population. 0.01% of the population में जब तक वो allele नहीं पाया जाएगा, उसको हम allele का दर्जा नहीं देंगे. ऐसा नहीं है कि say I was going in the sun, suppose a UV ray struck my eyes, my eye color became yellow, so will not, and I survived, I didn't die. So you will not say the oh great eye color में एक और नया allele आ गया yellow. No, what? If I have crossed the reproducing age and I could not pass the allele to the next generation, and when I died, this allele died with me, then the allele, you will not call it an allele because it will vanish with me. Or because of this mutation, my reproductive capability gets hampered. As a result, I am not being able to reproduce and pass the allele to the next generation. Again, this allele will die with me. Getting my point? तो इसको अब allele कैसे बोल सकते हैं? ठीक? If at all this mutation के बाद I survive, I am still able to reproduce, I am able to pass this allele to the next generation, then they are able to pass it to the next generation such that this allele gets populated, it gets popular within the population, and वो population में at least 0.01%, at least 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 1 lakh लोगों में कम से कम वो पाया जाना चाहिए, तभी हम उस mutated gene को allele का दर्जा देते हैं. Now exon में allele बनाना आसान नहीं है. Why? Because they are functional genes. Since they are functional genes, what will happen, if at all it gets mutated, the metabolic machinery of my body will somehow get affected, and this may lead to severe diseases in me. Maybe I will die and I will not even survive. जब हम survive ही नहीं करेंगे तो जीन को हम पास कैसे करेंगे? इसीलिए exons में normally allele ज़्यादा नहीं पाए जाते. अब इंट्रॉन के साथ क्या है? I will explain you again with an example. You know, इंट्रॉन के साथ क्या है? इंट्रॉन is a rubbish gene. It's a useless gene. अगर वो जीन यूजलेस है, अब उसमें आप जितनी मर्जी म्यूटेशन करो, उसके म्यूटेशन होने से मेरे मॉर्फोलॉजी में कोई फर्क नहीं आना, मेरे एनाटॉमी में फर्क नहीं आना, मेरे केमिकल रिएक्शंस में फर्क नहीं आना, क्योंकि वो जीन तो कई काम का था ही नहीं. सो व्हेन इंट्रॉन्स म्यूटेट, दे accumulate because they do not kill an individual, so they accumulate, and when I will reproduce, I'll pass it to the next generation. उसमें भी mutation हो जाएगा इंट्रॉन में, तो फिर एक नया जीन आ जाएगा उसका, they will pass it to the next generation. So इंट्रॉन में एक जीन के multiple alleles पाए जाते हैं. Just look at this balloon का जो मैं आपको example दे रही हूँ. Now if introns have multiple alleles, right? Let us come back to that. I'll come to the point of intron once again with the help of a diagram. Now since this is intron, this is gene 1, this is gene 2, this is gene 3, gene 4, and each gene has so many alleles. 1 allele, 2 allele, 3 allele, 4 allele, 5, 6, 7, 8. इसमें भी देखो, it has so many alleles. Say it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Each gene has multiple alleles. ठीक है? अब देखो इसी एक्सपेरिमेंट को फिर से करते हैं. इसी एक्सपेरिमेंट को फिर से करने के लिए what I will do is I'll again ask all 100 of you to come blindfolded. आंख में पट्टी बांध के आओ, and there are 4 baskets. And I will ask you, just keep your eyes closed and pick up one balloon from each basket. अभी मेरे number of basket क्या? Only 4. But each basket has कम से कम 30-40 type different colors of balloon. Right? Each has 30-40 different colors of balloon, each in multiple. हर balloon समझो 100 है, but यहाँ पर 20, 25, 30, 40 color के balloon, different balloons एक basket में. Similarly in the second, third, fourth. Now if I ask you, just pick out one. You are picking out one color out of 40. Then 1 out of 40, 1 out of 40, 1 out of 40. अगर मैं आप में से 100 के 100 लोगों को बुलाऊं, there will be a very less probability that the color of all the 4 balloons of any 2 people are same. Why? Because each basket had 50 colors, different colors of balloon. अब 50 में मैंने एक उठाया, ठीक है, मैंने इससे एक उठाया, इससे. आपका मेरा पहला बास्केट का हो सकता है मिल जाए, दूसरे का मिल जाए, लेकिन तीसरे का भी मिलेगा, चौथे का भी मिलेगा, इसका चांसेस बहुत कम है. Why? Because I told you here the basket represents the gene and the balloons they represent the allele. If one gene has many alleles, then what is the biggest advantage? अब आपको बड़ा DNA पढ़ने का जरूरत नहीं है, right? आप छोटे से DNA को पढ़कर 2 इंडिविजुअल के बीच के डिफरेंसेस को निकाल सकते हैं. That means great eureka moment for us. This will become cost effective and this will become time effective. Thus it can be used at a ground level for every person, right? So introns के बारे में जो मैं बता रही थी, I will show you another example to explain you what I wanted to. So I'm just showing you that if in a population we ask them to pick up them in 2 individuals, the probability of them being the same is difficult. Okay? So why are introns polymorphic? The question arises, I told you introns, we use them because they are polymorphic, because mutations take place. Mutation will take place both in the exon and the intron, right? Only then a new allele can be made. When there is an mutation in the exon, it may affect the vital metabolism leading to impairment in the reproductive capability. अगर हमारा एक्सॉन में म्यूटेशन हो गया तो शायद मेरा रिप्रोडक्टिव कैपेबिलिटी अफेक्टेड हो जाएगा एंड आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू पास दिस न्यू अलील टू द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, सो दिस अलील विल नॉट बी वायबल. In introns, there is no immediate impact in an individual's reproductive capability because these were useless genes. कोई काम के जीन थे नहीं, ठीक? तो ये पहले भी कुछ काम नहीं कर रहे थे, अभी भी कुछ काम नहीं कर रहे, तो मेरे बॉडी के मेटाबॉलिज्म को they are not going to get affected. As a result, they keep on accumulating generation after generation. I will get mutated, I'll make a third allele, pass it to the next generation, उसमें भी mutation हो जाएगा, another allele will be formed. So that way the alleles, mutations, they go on accumulating generation after generation, and this is why the introns are polymorphic. Got it? So mutation here par, when I tell you about polymorphism, I want to tell you one thing about it. Mutations, just in your since it is there in your book, I just want to tell you, mutation can take place both in the germ cell and the somatic cell of a body. Right? Mutation can take place both in the germ cell and somatic cell. Now you understand what is somatic cell. Every cell of our body is a somatic cell except the gonads. जो हमारे reproductive organs से, this is the testis in male, and say if I am drawing a female, this is the ovary. These are the cells which are called as the reproductive cells. अब अगर आप सोचो, अगर ovary is lined by germ cells, you know that, and testis is lined by germ cells, right? And ovary is lined by germ cells. अब आप सोचो, म्यूटेशन हुआ, लेकिन म्यूटेशन मेरे सोमैटिक सेल में हुआ, right? And म्यूटेशन के बाद मैं मरी नहीं. But the somatic cell genes can never be passed to the next generation. So see how an allele can be formed. First, the allele is formed when the original gene is mutated. Now this mutation does not lead to any disease in my body. It does not hamper my, hinder my reproductive process. Only then I can pass it. And third, this mutation must be there in my germ cell. क्योंकि आपको पता है केवल germ cell के ही cells को gamete के form में next generation में pass किया जाता है. If the mutation takes place in my somatic cell, it does not affect me, my viability. I am still alive, right? But I cannot pass genes of somatic cell to the next generation. I can pass cells only of the germ cells, right? So that's what I'm trying to show you over here. Mutation can take place in your germ cell, it can take place in the somatic cell. If it takes place in the somatic cell, it cannot spread to the other members of the population. Only if the mutation takes place in the germ cell, and after mutation, the gene is viable, it does not affect the reproductive capability of an individual, only then there is a probability of a new allele being formed, if at all that allele is able to be passed into the population and be found at a percentage of at least 0.01%. So it can spread to other population only when the mutation is in the germ cell. Polymorphism is represented when more than one variant occurs at a locus with a frequency greater than 0.01%. मैंने कहा ना, population में जब तक 0.01% से ज़्यादा नहीं पाया जाएगा, तब तक आप इसको उसका दर्जा नहीं देंगे. You will not give it the status of an allele. So with that, we have actually spoken a lot on the basis of DNA fingerprinting. I just would like to very well conclude. We'll come to the technique later. I will just like to conclude on a very small thing. The small thing is beta. DNA fingerprinting is just based on a simple fact, just like fingerprints, the DNA of two individuals can never be alike, right? So if you match the fingerprint of two individuals, एक बार के लिए fingerprint को जलाया जा सकता है. Surgically it can be, it can be tampered with, but the DNA can never be tampered with. So it is a better evidence than the fingerprints, right? So go ahead. अगर आपको दो individuals को distinguish करना है, just match their DNA. Now, The DNA is 2.2 meter long, made up of 3 into 10 to the power 9 bases. Now, matching those number of nucleotides would be time consuming and second very costly. So how to make it effective? We thought, okay, 99.9% is identical, why go for them? We'll go for 0.1%. But that 0.1% was also a huge number, 3 into 10 to the power 6. Oh my God. So ab kya kare? So let us find out some other solution. We saw that DNA is again made up of exons and introns. So we decided we'll not go for exons. Why? Because exons have only 2 alleles. So, if you match only a limited number of genes, then the probability of 2 people having all the same alleles will be high. So you have to match a large number of genes. That means large time and large money. No. Better go for introns. Why? Because in introns, what happens? Every gene has multiple alleles. Why does intron has multiple alleles? Because introns are non-functional genes. I'll give an example. मेरे घर पे एक टेबल है जिसका एक टांग टूट गया है. One of the legs is broken. It's useless to me. Right? That's an intron. It's a useless gene. अब उसका अगर मैं एक टांग और तोड़ दे, I break another leg. It is as useless to me. I could not have written on that, table with 1 leg broken. I cannot equally write on it with 2 leg broken or 3 leg broken. So if introns have further mutations, it hardly affects me because this is useless to me. So introns the mutated genes, they accumulate. Exon mein what happens? These are functional genes. Normally, it is unable, the person is affected, and as a result, he's not being able to pass it. But in introns, that is not the case. You can go on accumulating it. As a result, introns have many alleles for one gene. One word for that is polymorphism. Poly means many, morph means structures. So there are many alleles for one gene. So we call introns as polymorphic genes. So we decided to go for introns. Right? So that is the background of DNA fingerprinting. So now that we have, what is the basis of DNA fingerprinting, we know that in the background. Now we will go for the technique part, but in my next video. Till then, whatever I have taught you in the basis, I hope you understood it. Please study and wait for my next video. Till then, goodbye, good luck. We'll meet again.